All right, we're live. It's a Pardon My Jerk podcast. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're here to talk last chance qualifier today. What's up, Dunk?
What's going on, man?
I apologize for not being better prepared for this podcast. I've been on a good streak of intros here lately. So now you at least have to plug it in with the catchphrase that you're supposed to have at this point.
Bro, I don't even remember the catchphrase at this point. What was it? What is the catchphrase?
Well, the one that we were trying to work in was, I don't give a fuck about nerd shit.
I can't pull that off. It'll just be weird with me saying it.
I will tell you, I was going through our YouTube account today, and we actually, I can't remember the gentleman's name, had a long, thoughtful, well thought out, well constructed YouTube comment put in our video today.
Wow.
Yes.
Which video?
I was impressed. It was the one when we were talking about, it wasn't today. I just saw it today. It was the one we were talking about weight classes at the CrossFit games.
Oh, one of the early ones.
Yeah. And whether or not they belong, like the Josh Bridges argument.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy put out like a novel comment under there. And of course it's a YouTube comment. So it was just him implying that we're idiots, but at least it was like well put together.
Like, you guys are idiots.
But respect his perspective. I'm reading. I'm like, oh, maybe I am an idiot.
Yeah. That happens.
Yeah. So you are coming down to the wire, man. You're almost a dad.
Almost a dad.
How you holding up?
Good, man. It's been busy. Just trying to get everything ready.
Is everything not put together yet?
No, everything is put together minus our baby swing. But Teresa is in full nest mode, so she's just buying things like crazy. We got a bookshelf, a shoe rack up for a extravagant shoe rack. It's shoe rack / coat rack / key rack. It's a nightmare.
For the baby? For the baby's keys?
No. Half the stuff we've bought doesn't have anything to do with the baby. So
okay.
Yeah, I put a kitchen table together. What else? Patio furniture,
So instead of buying a new house, you're just replacing the innards of your current house.
Yeah. We're just buying all the things that we need for a new house without actually going to the new house.
Got you.
I don't know if that's the right structure, but that's how we're working it.
Is your state of mind changing at all? Are you starting to get anxious? You're starting to get excited?
I'm getting anxious because it's 2 weeks away from the due date, and then like I said, Teresa's uncomfortable and just not happy with how she feels all the time. So I'm just kind of ready for this part of it to be over and the next stage to begin.
Yeah, it's surreal when it gets there, man. You're just like, is this really happening? We're gonna go to we're gonna step in this building, and the next time I step out, I'm gonna have a baby.
Yeah, man. It started at me a little bit more because we took a baby class at the hospital where we're having the baby. So I was we were here, and I'm gonna be here in a couple weeks, delivering a child or supporting someone who is delivering a child. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm anxious. I'm nervous, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, man. It's a bananas experience. I just remember as everything was approaching for me, I was progressively kind of getting this feeling kind of in my stomach.
Yeah. I wasn't nervous up until a week or two ago. And then it was just oh, do I need this? Do I need that? Do I need this? Do I need that? And then I was just whatever I need, it'll be fine. Baby's not going to be able to move anyway.
Oh yeah. That type of stuff, it's not a big deal. I just remember having this fit oh, this is really is this happening? Is this happening? Are we?
Yeah.
No. It's going to go late. I still have another 2 weeks.
Every single person that I talked to is it's your first baby, man. It's not coming early.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you define early. Ours, I mean, Kellen came a week early. I don't know if that counts as early or not, but I
kind of just been in my head where it's if it's not before 38 weeks, it's not early. That's just kind of the time frame. It's 38 to 42 is you got a month where it's here's the ballpark.
Oh yeah, dude, you've gone the distance. You're there.
Yeah, we're at 38 weeks, so we've made it.
Yeah. So have you still been able to train?
Yeah. I've been training pretty regularly. I haven't had any breaks or anything like that.
Anything good? Any good jerk work?
I did one this morning. I don't know if it would be good jerk work, but it messed me up. It was a 20-minute EMOM, 50-foot sled push with, I think my sled was like 175 pounds. 50-foot sled push, and then 15 wall balls on the other minute.
Oh God, your legs.
Doesn't sound like, well, it was a lactic threshold. So the story behind it was a lactic threshold workout that we had gotten from like a friend, but they clipped off the second part of the workout. So we're like, well, what can we do to just wreck the legs? And I was like, just do wall balls. So yeah, 50-foot sled push and 15 wall balls, unbroken with the wall balls. And it wrecked my entire world.
Yeah, for real.
It was just a constant, like, my heart rate was spiked the entire time, and I couldn't, like, even though like you'd finish relatively quickly every time, but it was a lot.
Yeah, we're still working through regionals workouts. So this week we're in 2016, and today was 2016 regionals event day 2. So, and for those of you who don't know, we're experiencing quite the heat wave on the East Coast right now. So today was brutal, man. Basically training in a woodshed. Ugh. And then
those days.
Oh yeah, it's just the heat just sits in there, man. Like, it's crazy when it's 90 degrees outside and you're like, I can't wait to get outside and cool off. Right. And so today it was, for time, 104 wall balls and 52 pull-ups, and then it was supposed to be rest 1 minute. We rested 4 minutes.
Good call.
Then straight into 4 rounds for time, 28 pistols and 15 power cleans at 115 and 75. Everyone collapsed on the floor for quite some time in a pool of their own bodily fluids. And then we went into, it was 3 rounds for time, GHD sit-ups, heavy deadlifts, and 400-meter run. So yeah, today it was like basically 3 Metcons, all very in close proximity. And yeah, it just pounded you. Nothing I would recommend particularly.
In that heat, oh man, all of that sounds rough.
Yeah, it was a rough day. But tomorrow is that regionals Nate workout and the squat snatch ladder they just did at West Coast Classic, which I'm looking forward to that.
What was Nate?
The regionals Nate is 10 rounds for time, 4 strict muscle ups, 7 strict handstand push-ups, 12 kettlebell snatches at 70/53. If I'm not, my numbers there might be off, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That's
not going to be exactly the blistering pace, so I'm really looking forward to that. And snatch ladders are fun.
You can do strict muscle ups, right?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know what's going on with me. I told you, so we've been talking about this. I've been like putting like a real high intensity focus on like my recovery here lately, right? And nutrition and all that. I usually walk around about 215 pounds. I'm about 228 right now.
What?
Yeah.
228.
228 pounds right now, man. Yeah. Usually it'll fluctuate, 226, 228. By the end of the workout, I'll sweat out 3 or 4 pounds easily. Yeah. But like by the time I'm walking to the gym, about somewhere between 225 and 230, which for me it's like college Kyle.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if I've ever seen you that big.
Yeah, and I'm
in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm still lean, man. Still pretty much just as strong. Yeah, it's so I'll tell you what my theory on it is. So here's a lesson, all you kids out there. Put a lot more focus on your recovery protocols. My knees are feeling better than they've felt in years, so I can actually like squat heavy and handle volume, and I think my legs are just getting bigger. Yeah, I think I can just handle a higher training volume.
I think I should start doing that.
So I'll tell you. So we talked about this in the podcast with Gene, but that was all jacked up anyway. So I'm doing less stretching pre-workout because there's research out there that it's like it cuts your power output. But I've been cooling down post-workout, mobility at night, cold water exposure, and I've been supplementing with THC-free CBD oil. And I think the combination of all those things has just made, like, I think the mobility work has allowed me to move much better. So there's much less wear and tear on like my knees. And when I'm moving better, I'm recovering better. Which obviously makes sense. The cold shower stuff, there's like cool shit with like central nervous system response and like inflammatory markers and cold shock proteins. I don't know. I'll go into the weeds into that. And then the CBD, man, it could be, I don't like assigning anything to be like a magic pill. I think that's the path to not good stuff. But and there's a good chance that it's still the what is it, the effect where it's not actually, you think it's doing something. Placebo effect. There's a good chance it's still placebo. All I'm telling you is anecdotally from observation, I take 10 to 20 milligrams of CBD. The next morning, I feel immensely better.
Who cares if it's placebo at that point? Like,
exactly.
It works.
That's exactly. I was speaking with a friend of mine who's a doctor, and she was like, "Yeah, you're still in the placebo phase." I was like, "Who cares? Like, if it works, it works. What difference? Right. What do I care about the mechanisms of it? You know what I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, man, I feel 5 years younger.
That's pretty good because your knees were about 15 years too old.
I have the knees of a 55-year-old now.
All the pistols you guys have been doing too. You had to start doing something.
Yeah, I've backed off on those, man. I've been scaling the pistols with like a band, just like, because especially since I haven't been doing pistols for so long, like I want to like develop like that connective tissue in my knees better, like build up my patellar tendon, build up my quad tendon, so it can actually like handle that wear and tear before like being like, oh, my knees feel good, let's beat the living shit out of them.
Yeah, dude, I noticed I'm like good at pistols, but I don't do them right, and they kill me every time after I'm done. We did them in a comp. We did them in a comp a couple months ago, and I was like, the guy I was with did not want to do pistols, and so I just did them all, and I was like, this is great. Woke up the next day, my knees hated me.
Yeah, I've been stretching my ankles and calves every single night.
Really?
Yeah, man. Every single night, because I'll tell you, it's genuinely worth it when you do as much over. Like we've been on like a phase here of like doing a lot of snatching and overhead squatting, and to find that position and groove it correctly, you're like, oh my God, what have I been doing all this time? Like truly grooving that position well, you know. And so today, pretty much with no warm up, where I came out there and I was doing single arm overhead squats and doing them pretty well, and they felt good. So highly recommend, man. Like at night when we're just sitting on the couch watching Netflix, I'll just set aside 30, 40 minutes and just put in some maintenance, mashing, stretching, all that stuff.
That's a good call. I need to get on that train.
And I'm honestly enjoying this process of slowly progressing myself on cold water exposure.
I've tried it, and it's just, oh man, the first few times it's just so bone jarring.
So I'll tell you what Gene told me. There's like a mechanism in your brain where like you're immediately exposed to something and your brain's like, cut this, stop this now. And it's like, if you have to push through that barrier. And he goes, that barrier is like 30 to 45 seconds. If you can make that 45-second mark, it's like, oh, well, this isn't so bad.
I know, you gotta get used to it. But
you just got to you have to tell your, like, no, you are not getting out of here. You're going to sit in here until it's fine. And then it's not that bad.
Gene reminds me of a guy that would just get in a cold shower because it's like, oh, this is good for me. And I'm going to beat the shower.
Yeah. He's a psycho. Yeah. It's a maniac, dude, like borderline serial killer. Yes. That's exactly what Gene is. That's why he was on the podcast, man. But and we didn't get into it so much in the pod, but like he did like January, got into like the Susquehanna River, like broke ice to get in there.
Jeez. I feel like I'd be better at that than like just being like, all right, I'll take a cold shower tonight. Like it's one thing to jump in a cold ass lake and be like, all right, we're just doing this because. It's another to like have to shower, take a cold shower every
We're not
night.
talking polar plunge, jump in and then scurry on out and giggle about it. Like he immersed himself and sat in like the river.
Okay, well, we've already established he's a psychopath.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that workout tomorrow though. But it's like a lot of maintenance, but it's like crazy, man, how like worth it. Like it's like, oh, this is how Matt Fraser can train for 8 hours a day. Like now it makes more sense.
Well, he spent just about just as much time on maintenance as he did working out.
Yeah.
So
last chance qualifiers this week. So first, I guess let's talk about programming first, right? So they released it's 4 workouts. They're going to be, from what I gathered, it's 4 workouts that are going to be performed over the course of 3 days. So I didn't read up on it, but I'm assuming it's just like a basic due date type of format. This needs to get done, record it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know? I mean,
let me I'll pull them up. I think
I have them written down already.
So the first, oh wait, hang on. I think that they have the times when they need to be submitted. Like, yeah, the first workout needs to be submitted Saturday by noon. Second one, Saturday noon. And then the last 2, Sunday at noon.
So that's good. So now I know when to check. So we got 4 workouts. First one is 42, 30, 18 reps of calories on the rower and hang dumbbell snatch at 50, 35, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a good workout for tall people. I mean, it's just a rowing workout. I mean, the snatches aren't really going to bother anybody.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of my first impression. I was like, this workout's fine. Dumbbell snatches, everyone's going to go unbroken and sprints their ass off through it, no problem. Yeah. This workout is about just your total power output on the rower.
Yeah, I mean, 42 is a high number, but like 30 and 18, they're not. So like once you get through the first round, you're fine.
I don't know. So, 42, what do you think? They're going to crank, that's what, 90 seconds they're getting that done?
I would say at the most 90 seconds. Especially because they don't have to go to the ground. It's just a hang power snatch.
I'm sorry, I meant for the row.
Oh.
But yeah, what do you think? 90 seconds it's going to take them to get that done. So yeah, spoiler, like I'm looking at these workouts and I immediately thought like, oh, this is a good event for large athletes.
Yeah.
Like large athletes, especially weirdly specific, large athletes with long arms. Like
Kowski would have won this. He would have won almost every event, I feel like, except for maybe the deadlift.
The burpees to 12-inch target, I don't know about that, but
barely has to jump. I guess he has.
Well, I think it's 12 inches above your reach.
Yeah.
So he probably would have gotten smashed on that. But the like looking at these events, I was like, yeah, this is a large athletes event right here. Because you move on. So we have a 3 rep max deadlift. I guess it's not a front squat, a snatch, or a clean and jerk. So that's cool, I guess.
I just don't like the idea of a max lift in a 4 event like qualifier for the games.
Yeah, this should have been but for like the online qualifier, there was no max lift. So
but there was more workouts.
Yeah.
The max lift, the top 50 people that did the max lift in the what was the front squat from last year at the games? Like
for the games last year was 1 rep max.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the top 50 people, like Fraser was the only one that cracked the top 20.
You mean
there's strong people out there that just don't factor into the rest of these workouts, but they're gonna mess the leaderboard up for the people that will, in my opinion. Which is why I don't like the idea of a max lift with so little events.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is if you just happen to be Sam Dancer, now you just 25% of the events are right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like there's more to unpack there, but I just don't have the sophisticated thought process for it right now. But like I said, I think there's better ways. There's other ways to test strength than just a max lift. We've talked that into the ground on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have an issue with it personally. I mean, at least it wasn't a max handstand hold.
Yeah. But at least that was different.
Yeah. But even even just for time, I don't know. Like just for time, 10 deadlifts at 455.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be fine with something like that. But then you got guys that can't lift 455.
Right. Or you have the guy that can just do it unbroken and does it in 10 seconds. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. I don't know.
I mean, it's an interesting thing, like, because it's the same thing. If you've got a guy that can do it unbroken, he's going to lift the most on a 3-rep max. So, like, what's the difference, really?
Ooh, not necessarily, but I see what you're saying.
I think if you're a CrossFitter, if you do CrossFit professionally and you can have the strongest deadlift, you're going to be able to do 10 reps. Your cardio is not going to be that bad.
Next, we have 100 burpees for time to a target 12 inches above your reach.
12 inches
not the most amusing workout to watch.
12 inches is taller than, or like a further jump than normal, right?
Normally it's 6 inches above your reach.
Okay, 6. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah,
I'm curious how much that's going to change things. You know what I mean? Like, what difference? I think making it 12 inches above your reach helps out taller athletes a little bit. Like, allows a taller athlete to be a little bit more in the mix, because I feel like a 12-inch jump for a taller athlete is easier than a 12-inch jump for a dude that's 5'5" or a female that's 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. How do you are they gonna have to jump to a wall?
No, they when they did this in 2013, it was in the open. You would lower a gymnastics ring.
Okay.
So I'm assuming they're going to hold that same standard again.
That would make sense. Yeah, I'm starting to think, like, how are you going to manage to get a pull-up bar to be perfect for everybody?
The crazy thing about that work, I say it's not the most amusing workout to watch, but I'm going to be honest with you, if this was like in a competition and we had like a competition floor and there was like lanes, and say every 20 reps you advanced, say, this would be kind of interesting, because I think this is going to be like a 5-minute workout.
I mean, it's a 7-minute cap.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, maybe even faster then, if you think about it.
No, right? I think in a competition, if it's 10 reps and you move forward, that would be something, because then it's like you can really push those, like, each 10 reps. So like if you get somebody that comes down to pushing 20 reps is a little bit harder. But like aesthetically, if you're pushing those last like 10 reps against you're racing somebody, that could be interesting. So I see what you're saying as far as that could be an exciting event.
I honestly think it would, because at that point, it's essentially a foot race, right? Like 100 burpees for time is basically like a 1,000-meter run for time at that level. You know what I mean? So I think it actually could be a pretty interesting event to actually watch live. They would never do it, but to watch it live, I think would be pretty interesting.
It'd be very difficult to like hold the 12-inch target thing for like as they advance down the floor.
Oh yeah.
They just got rings all like scattered throughout. Like they had that rope climb on the rig back in 2013.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an issue with it. It's just, I guess it's like the deadlift and the burpees sort of cancel each other out. Like big, strong athletes going to do really well on the burpees or on the deadlift. Smaller, lighter athletes going to do really well in the burpees. So they're kind of canceling each other out in terms of balance, right? So and then like the first workout's going to be a short, explosive, monostructural weightlifting event. Our fourth one is going to be on the longer side. I still don't think it's going to be very long. And now we're mixing it up with all 3 different modalities here. We have double unders, maybe not monostructural. It depends on who you ask, but we have weightlifting, gymnastics, longer. I think it's a pretty balanced test, relatively speaking. I think it's going to do a good job of finding a relatively balanced athlete. Probably favors taller athletes a little bit.
Yeah, especially with the legless rope climb. So.
Yeah. Are you on the side of like tall athletes have an advantage or disadvantage in legless rope climbs?
Advantage. They're all going to the same height, so I think it's an advantage. Taller athletes, you can get higher up on the rope. Like I'm good at rope climbs, but I'm actually really terrible at rope climbs. I just don't have to pull as much.
Well, so they kept saying it's another one of those ones. So it's funny when I was listening to the Josh Matt Sevon podcast a long time ago, and Josh and Matt were going in on the announcers for just like not knowing what they're talking about. They're all complete idiots, right? And did we talk about GHDs? Did we talk about that
I
last
think
week?
we did briefly, yeah.
How they kept saying tall athletes have an advantage in GHDs, and I was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
spoken like a short athlete.
yeah.
uh, and that, I remember in 19 they kept saying that like tall athletes are such a disadvantage on legless rope climbs, and I'm like, I don't necessarily know that that's the case, but I think legless and classic rope climbs are two very different things. Like I think as a tall athlete has a huge advantage on regular rope climbs.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
Legless, I think being short might be a good thing.
I don't know though, because like unless you're like just not an athlete, like the higher you jump, the better you're going to be
Yeah,
on that legless.
but you gotta look at like the total number of pulls, because when it comes down to legless rope climbs, it's all about your total pulls.
Yeah,
Like how many times are you pulling on that rope?
yeah, and there's a lot of legless rope climbs in this workout.
15 of them. 5, 4,
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. I actually like this workout a lot. I want to do this one.
It gets I mean, it's a lot of rope climbs.
Well, I love legless rope climbs first of all,
Yeah, I know you do.
and dubs are a relatively strong movement for me, and I like squat cleans. So yeah, I like this. I like this workout a lot, but I don't know. What do you think the times are going to put up on this are going to be?
Time cap is 20 minutes. So I'm thinking like the winning time would be around 15.
I'm thinking
13 to 15.
I'm thinking to be in the mix, you need to be sub 15.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Everybody's going to go unbroken on the dubs because, like, by the time you get tired, you're already down to like 60 double unders.
So it's 300 double unders, right? So 300 double unders. If you average two double unders a second, it's basically 3 minutes of double unders.
Okay.
Like this rope climbs, if you're averaging 2 a minute, that's you do them in seven minutes, right? That's 10 minutes right there. So get the squat cleans done under 5 minutes with someone changing the bar for you. Dude, you might see people getting this done in 13-minute range.
My thing is, this is, I don't know. Those squat cleans get pretty heavy there at the end. Kind of heavy at the end.
275. Shit, man, they were snatching that at West Coast Classic.
That's true.
Yeah. So what do you think of the test?
Well, my thing is, you're probably going to have the lighter athletes get further faster. What is that heavy barbell at the end? The 6 squat cleans, the 4 squat cleans, the 2 squat cleans, is that going to slow them down enough for the bigger guys to catch up where they can just power through that barbell,
Here's what I'm going to say no. I don't think it's heavy enough to do it.
Yeah.
Like you're going to see some freak shows just come out and just like touch and go that bar.
Yeah.
When someone changing the bar for them, like I feel like those dubs, that's like recovery for them. Or they're gonna sit here and be like, "I'll just breathe breathe when I get to the legless."
Dubs and profession, like elite level CrossFit that's what they use it for, is recovery. I feel like.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So.
I was trying to look something up on my phone. That's why I was on my phone. Sorry. Because there's been a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of athletes have been doing a lot of press lately. I was looking for there's something I wanted to say. But all right, so let's get down to it. So you said you had a top 5. Who were your top 5?
So for my men, I went with number 1, Krennikov. Number 2, Con Porter. 3, Spencer Panchek. 4, James Newberry. 5, Dolan Pepper. I don't know if I'm completely convinced of James Newberry. It just might be a thing that he's been there, he's done it, he's been to the games a lot.
I have Newberry as my number 1.
That's your number 1.
Oh yeah, Newberry is my number 1. I think he's basically I think you can pretty much put him in ink. I think he's gonna make it.
Okay.
So
wait. So it's top 3 that make it, right?
Top 2.
Top 2. Okay.
Yeah. So I have Newberry number 1. I look at that. The guy Newberry is fantastic at just cannonballing himself out on a workout. So I think he's going to do awesome on that row hang snatch workout.
Yeah.
He's not a strong dude, but he's actually a very strong deadlifter. Okay. Then the 100 burpees, come on, like
Yeah.
skinny little dude like that with his engine, he's going to destroy that. And
is he a little dude?
Yeah. He's definitely light, but I think he's like in the I want to say like 5'7" range, 5'8". And then on that workout, the longer workout, I don't think it's heavy enough for it to matter. Like, I don't think those squat cleans are heavy enough to hurt him. And then my number 2, I said Roman Krennikov.
Okay.
Which sucks because he's not coming to the U.S.
Yeah. He's going to qualify. It's just be like, well, can't make it to the U.S.
And CrossFit now, they're saying they're not going to backfill. We'll talk about this when we're done. They're not backfilling people that can't make the trip. So it's like, is Krennikov going to take someone's spot knowing damn well he was never going to get here, which would be kind of shitty.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know why, I guess we're going to talk about that, but
why are they not backfilling?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But so I'd say Krennikov just because he might be the best rower in the game, at least at that kind of rowing.
Yeah.
Same. He's not crazy strong, but I don't think it's too heavy to destroy him. I have a good feeling about Krennikov here. My number 3 is Con Porter, taller athlete. Dallin Pepper, larger, taller athlete. I think that I don't know if Dallin Pepper's fitness is quite there yet, but I think they're good events for him.
Yeah.
But the thing about the deadlift is like, it's like a weird lift because it's like, just because you can snatch a shitload of weight doesn't necessarily mean you're a good deadlifter. Like, right. I'm a good snatcher and I am a garbage deadlifter.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah. It doesn't always translate.
So yeah, I don't know. But I think he'll do well in the row workout as well. Margins are so tight, man. Yeah. And then I'd Cedric Lapointe, however you say it. I just think he's a good CrossFitter.
So no Spencer Panchak, huh?
No. Nope. And it hurts me to say it because I want to see him there.
I almost left him out just because of the events. But like, I was like, this dude was like one of the fitter guys all the way through like to the semifinals. So like, I felt like he just, I don't know. I'm hoping he makes it.
Like I said, the fact that the time domains are so short and explosive, like high power output workouts, I think is going to hurt some athletes.
And that's where he struggles the most, I feel like. So
right. And I think that's where Roman Krennikov is very strong. And I think that's where Con Porter is very strong.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be interesting. I really hope they backfill that if Con Porter can't do it. Or if Krennikov can't do it.
And Australia's on like full lockdown again too.
Yeah, but Newberry's already here.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, Newberry is in Nashville training with Tia and Brooke and them.
Nice.
So the ball's on this guy, man. Like, he was so confident to the point that he was going to qualify in this last chance qualifier, which is taking 2 spots.
Yeah.
Out of like a field of like 35 men or something like that. He's like, I'm going to pay the plane ticket, go to Nashville, train there for a month, and then now I'm just here.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, Australia though, they're crazy, and I don't want to get like, I don't know 100% of the details, but from what I understand is like Australia is still doing like, you got to lock down in a hotel at your own expense for 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understood listening to Royce Dunn talk, who's awesome, by the way. If you've never heard Royce Dunn do any media, Royce Dunn is awesome. He was saying you also have to pay to get back in the country.
Really?
And then based off the amount that you pay the Australian government just to get back into the US, you can circumvent certain protocols in the quarantine process.
Wow. So they've got a racket going on down there.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Like he was saying, it's like if you pay something like $250,000 or $300,000, like you can just quarantine in your own house for like a week. And it's like, dude, that's insane. Yeah, I think, but then like Cara Webb was talking on Sevon's podcast, and she's like, yeah, where I live in Brisbane, it's just like pretty much, I haven't seen anyone wearing a mask that's under the age of 70 in like months. Like, what the hell is going on in that country?
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. She dropped, that was one of the things I wanted to bring up, but she dropped an interesting little tidbit that we can talk about later.
Okay.
Women, who you got?
All right, so number 1, I went with Christine Kohlbrander. Number 2, Karen Freyova. 3, and I'm not confident in this one, Christy Aramo O'Connell. And then 4, Chloe Wilson.
Chloe Wilson, interesting call. Calling her shot on a rookie.
So I went with I'm struggling to like find the last like couple people. So I just went through the events and was finding girls that were strong, just because I think that it's going to lend it well to stronger females, stronger athletes in this four event workout.
And I think because like with certain events like that row, stronger, larger females you're going to see a much larger sort of disparity between them.
Yeah, like I don't think I would have gone with Karen Freyova. She's good, but I don't know if I would have gone with her over some other people had it been more of a balanced qualifier.
This was so up in the air for me. God, there's so many women that are like all kind of like on the same tier, right? So my number 1 I said was Fee Sagafi. For no reason other than she's just a good ass CrossFitter. Like I don't know what else to say. Like,
I mean, I'm with you there, but she's just small. She's a smaller athlete.
Yeah. Then I have Freyova. I have Emma Tall. I wrote Paige Semenza, Christy Aramo O'Connell, just because you got to put her in the mix because she's Christy Aramo. And I have Kohlbrander. So the tough thing with Christy Aramo is I think 3 of the 4 events are not awesome for her.
Yeah.
But 1, I'm pretty confident she's going to win.
The burpee.
In that burpee workout.
Yeah.
And the thing with this scoring system, if they do it the semifinals type scoring system, it's going to be very forgiving to people who win events.
Yeah.
Because if it's like the open scoring system, you can't take a 900th place.
Right. Yeah. So like if you bomb one, it's not the end of the world.
Right. So yeah. So I like Christy Aramo. Paige Semenza, I just know she's strong and she's a high power output athlete. So I put her in the mix. Emma Tall, she's a smaller, heavier athlete, but she basically qualified for the games. So I'm like, must be a pretty good athlete. She really kind of shouldn't even be here. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm going with Sagafi. I'm going with Sagafi and Freyova. A rookie's got to get in.
I'm going with Kohlbrander and Freyova.
It's just
my top 2.
2 rookies, nice.
Well, Kohlbrander's kind of a rookie.
Actually, I don't know if Freyova is actually a rookie. I think she might have made it in 2019 when everyone else did. But it's like the one thing I wanted to mention about this was like the weird thing about this season is it's been all veterans, everything. Mm-hmm. Like every time we come into one of these events, we're like, oh, this person might make some noise. Look out for this guy.
Except for the Granite Games.
Yeah. But even then, Pacelli still qualified. You know what I mean? Like there just weren't that many veterans in that competition.
O'Connell was in that competition though.
Yeah. I mean, she could not have really gotten a worse dice roll on programming for that one, but
yeah,
it's like one of those ones like week in and week out, we keep seeing like, oh, we think this person's going to make some noise. And then Sam Briggs still qualifies. Jason Smith still kicks the shit out of everyone in Africa. Cole Sager wins the West Coast Classic. And it's like, I get Hopper wins MAC, but the next 3 guys behind him were all veterans.
Yeah, Hopper was just a complete out of nowhere guy. Like nobody had heard of him. So
yeah. But he's an outlier in almost every conceivable way.
Yeah.
Which is what makes me think there's a chance he could be something special.
Dude, I think he's going to be the next podium athlete.
You mean Matt Fraser's supplement brand?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's called Podium. That's a weird word or a weird title.
It's a supplement company, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to be the next one?
If you watch the Buttery Bros or his recent YouTube video, they did a lot of hanging out, and he complimented him on how well he moved, and basically that's all Fraser needs to say to let you know that he supports somebody.
I've listened to Hopper talk a few times now, and this dude, I can't make heads or tails of him.
I remember you telling me about the thing where he got on Savon's podcast and he was like calling out Frazier. And I was like, he seems a little cocky. But he said the exact same thing word for word right to Frazier's face at his gym. He's like, I want to go to your place and I want to lock the door and I just want to work out for like 3 days straight, see who wins.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, I can't tell if he's like Black Mamba mentality or like Christian Ricky Garrard. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't tell if this dude's like kind of full of it or if he's like the real deal. I need to observe more of him and more information on him.
Yeah. I'm excited to it'd be kind of cool to have like he's a football player. And so is Cole Sager, but Cole Sager is like the complete opposite of like what you would think of like a football player. Like I want somebody that's like hard-headed, like gonna talk a little shit. I want some of that. I want some of that from this guy.
There needs to be like, they need both sides of it in CrossFit. There needs to be contingencies of dudes that are just bros with everybody and want to be friends with everyone and talk to everybody, like Noah Olson or Cole Sager. Like, they just seem like really nice guys. But then there's this other – I wanted the contingency of guys that are going to, like, talk shit with one another.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've been saying it for years that CrossFit needs a villain.
Mm-hmm. And he's just suspended.
Yeah. Yeah, but just somebody that people just love to hate. Like I thought it was going to be Jeff Evans, and he just kind of fizzled. Yeah.
I think Adler could be that. Jeff Adler.
Adler seems like he wants to run his mouth a little bit. It's
It seemed like he wanted to run his mouth just with Frazier, but
yeah, and then but it's not fun when you run your mouth at Frazier and he stomps on you every event.
It's like the best trash talk you could have is, we just can't let him win all the events.
That's the best you could do. Fikowski, it's one of the things I love about him. Like, Fikowski will run his mouth, but then Fikowski, it's all like in good fun. And, he's like, it was just fine, Yeah. But speaking of talking shit, so Carr Saunders, who's just a goddamn world treasure, right? CrossFit, it's just a sweetheart. She was on Sevon's podcast, who's been very prolific lately. That guy puts out a lot of content.
Dude, he gets all the top athletes.
Yeah, well, the combination of him and Brian Friend, they have connections to anybody.
Yeah.
And they're buddies with Matt O'Keefe, and O'Keefe, everybody wants to be in O'Keefe's good graces.
I say O'Keefe might as well run CrossFit at this point.
Yeah.
They should have just sold it to him.
So Saunders is on there, and they brought up the 2014 games. And when the 2014 games, Carl Saunders gets injured.
That's her back issue, right?
Jaw. She had a neck issue that was come from her jaw being out of alignment.
Gotcha.
So she was in the lead going into push-pull, which had a bunch of handstand push-ups. And she bombed push-pull, and then they had to do a handstand walk workout, and she was out. So she was winning.
That was on Sunday, too. That was the last day.
Yeah. She was winning. She bombs out because of an injury. And then it's like the last three. Now, everybody's going to say this, but the last 2 or 3 events were wheelhousers for Carson. The last event had overhead squats, which is her best movement. And then the final event was double Grace. You're going to have a hard time finding any females that are going to beat Carl Saunders in double. You're going to have a hard time finding females now that would have beat Carl Saunders back then in double Grace.
Yeah.
So they basically Sevon was implying, and I don't think Sevon's a big fan of Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet.
Okay.
Basically, he was implying to her, the only reason Camille has that title is because you got hurt. And Carl was playing in class. What's that?
Savon just loves to poke the bear. Oh, man.
He has his favorites, and he loves to blow up his favorites.
Yeah.
And so he goes, so Carl goes, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to say that. I just know that things were going really well for me. I got injured, and Camille refuses to speak to me anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So she tells a story. She's like, and I apologize to everybody that listens to Sevon's podcast. I'm just regurgitating a bastardized version of the story. But she tells a story about like how they were at regionals one year. Tia was there. This reporter was just trying to pull a story that involved some sort of discontent between Cara and Tia. We're just like, we want like just trying to pull something out to imply there was problems between them.
Yeah.
And eventually Cara just starts getting so frustrated, and she's just like, what? And then I guess she says something to the effect of, well, I already should have a title. And it gets back like, so Cara like reaches out to Camille, was like, hey, look, I'm sorry. I was really frustrated. I didn't mean to belittle your accomplishments in any way, whatever. And she's like, yeah, Camille never messaged me back, and we haven't spoken ever since. And the story is interesting because I was like, man, I met Camille and I had such a great experience with her, but this is like the fourth different story that I've heard of her being like,
I was gonna say, I haven't heard very glowing things about her.
Yeah, like that. I keep hearing different stories about it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I want to be very clear. I met her and I thought she was fantastic. I had a great experience with her, but it was like, man, it seems like there's some people that maybe she might have rubbed the wrong way that keep wanting to kind of go public with it.
Yeah, sounds like a guy we know. Oh, Rich Froning.
Rich Froning, man, I think Rich, to a degree, is just very focused on his goals, very focused on what he's trying to accomplish, and he just doesn't have time for anybody that's, you know what I mean?
From the sound of it, he's just like, I want to be around people that are exactly like me, and if you're not exactly like me, I got no time for you.
Yeah, I would want to know more details about what, like, the stuff that happened there, but because it seems like certain athletes, it seems like Rich is like, listen, you're going to make a living being successful within my ecosystem. I will take care of you. If you want to do something different, like, go fuck yourself. Like that.
I get why
more about this team and this ecosystem and building this empire.
I get why like him and Tia and Frazier didn't necessarily get along, because 3 alphas, 1 room, that's just not gonna work. But like, I'm curious about the beef between him and Hewitt, like what actually went down there, because they were like friends. They were teammates for a long time.
Yeah, and then here's the thing, man. Do either of us know a single person that's ever been the greatest in the world at anything?
No.
Or even understand like what like this, like, so it's like, yeah, maybe Rich can be difficult to get along with. I bet you a lot of times Matt's difficult to get along with. And I bet you a lot of times Tia's difficult to get along with, like, because they have the type of personality that would drive them to think it's even fucking possible to be the fittest human being on the planet Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like to have that sort of, be in that sort of headspace of just like, get up in the morning, brush your teeth, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, I think I could be the fittest human who's ever lived.
God, I can't imagine being friends with Michael Jordan. That can't be fun.
Well, depends on who you are. If you're Charles Oakley, it sounds like a blast. But if you're who was that boy on from the Jordan doc that they said he was just ruthless on?
The Wizard. Yeah, no, I know you're talking.
Man,
Martell or something. Last name Martell.
There was I think there was several, but the one guy went on. I think I don't want to, whatever.
Yeah, no, I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, probably depends on who you are, because I think there's certain dudes like Charles Barkley, who's always like, I think he just never bought into his shit.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think Barkley would always just be like, Mike, shut up, man. So, speaking of which, can we just all come to an agreement for every like 1 week that Scottie Pippen just shuts his mouth, we'll just move him one more spot up the NBA's top 100 all-time list?
Dude, he's got some dumb takes, man. He just
my God, dude, I'm so tired of listening to his nonsense. We get it, man. You were underrated. We get it. No one appreciated you as being good as good as you were in your time. But like, God, let it go.
Dude, ESPN right now is just getting terrible with it. It's just all hot takes, and they're all really terrible hot takes. But it's like, it's a different one every day, and it changes every day. Like the one that I saw today was completely unrelated to CrossFit, but I saw somebody said that Paul George was a top 5 NBA player. I'm like, no, he was. No, he's not. He just had a good game. And that's what we need to talk about today. So we need to be able to post something on Instagram and get people to read it and watch the video.
But it's not like there's a shortage of things to talk about. That's the thing that pisses me off. Like
Yeah.
they're doing this just to generate churn, but it's like there's plenty of sports to talk about out there.
Mm-hmm.
No one has any idea what's going on in the NHL playoffs unless you're like a hardcore, like a real hockey fan.
No one covers it. Nobody covers it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I was like, yeah, I got the quote last night of Scottie Pippen was calling Phil Jackson a racist. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, come on.
This needs to continue to stay relevant. So let's just keep spouting off at the mouth.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was, what else? I mentioned something else that we want to talk. I was like, we got to get to this later. What was it?
I don't think you didn't privy me with the news there.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to probably should have put together a shot sheet for today.
Write some things down.
I had a couple. I had some stuff written down, but there was one thing I was like, we need to talk about this a little bit later. But I guess whatever, it's fine. One of the other takes that I've seen keep coming up is Carrie Pierce, greatest American CrossFit female ever. And it's like one of those things like everyone's just agreed to it. Like, do we know that's true?
No, I don't know like who I'd put above her. That just kind of goes to show you like the lack of top level talent we've had here in the CrossFit space since like the early that's the late 2010s. Thing, right? No, she can't be considered the best simply because she's never won.
Well, she did take a second last year, right? I mean, whatever you want to call last year.
Yeah. No, I don't. No.
Whatever last year's worth.
You got to give it to people that have won, and then once she wins, we can include her in that conversation.
So there's Kristen Clever. Kristen Clever's
the
last American female to win it.
Did she win twice or just once?
Once.
And then she came in second a couple of times.
I believe she came in second once.
Okay, she's number one. Like I'm cool with the arguments in like other sports of like, this guy didn't win a Super Bowl, where he can still be considered like top 10 or whatever if he was that good. But like CrossFit is a sport of results. Like win. Like you train to put up numbers, you train to put up better times than everybody else. That's the goal. You can't be considered the best if you've never won and somebody else has. Just because it was a different time. Now, Carrie Pierce is a better athlete than Kristen Clever, but
that's the thing. It's like you got to. Yeah, it's like, yeah, obviously, if they had a competition against each other, even in their primes, for both of them, Carrie Pierce would destroy Chris Clever. But like, yeah, if we're just talking I always personally look at it in terms of relativity to the field. Like, in my opinion, there's not really much of a question in my mind that Fraser would beat Froning if they competed against each other, possibly even today.
I'm curious. Like, I want to see him like, all right, I'm going to just shut all you guys up. I can still beat you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had some of the numbers up. That was one of the reasons I was so disappointed that West Coast Classic changed the workouts as much as they did.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to go back and look at like what Fraser's scores were on all those.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, oh, yeah, in 2017, Fraser could have qualified for the games.
Dude,
this competition.
I was watching, I don't know if it was like his YouTube video or somebody else's where like he was in it. And I was like, man, I'm going to miss like just him just purely dominating everybody. And it's not even close. Like even year where
I'm happy to see him go.
I'm like on both sides of the fence though. Cause like, it's going to be nice to have like a new face, but like Fraser's the man. I'm a big fan of him.
I'm liking him more and more the more we're getting of the non-competition Fraser. Yeah. Like I'm a big fan of retirement Fraser. I like that guy a lot. He wasn't my favorite guy I didn't hate him or anything. He wasn't my favorite guy all the time when he was competing, which again is fine. Like, it's fine. Like, there's a lot of world-class athletes out there that people don't like because that's what it takes to become the best in the world at something at some point. Yeah. You know, he's not there to gain my approval. Fuck me.
Dude, could you have guessed how involved he'd be in everything when he, like, those first few months of his retirement, when everybody thought he was like bashing the sport? Like, he got out and now he's just going to bash everybody. Now he's at all the events running these big workouts for everybody at the comp. And like, I think he's been to 3 of them.
That's a great question. If I would I have anticipated him being so involved and so visible and so ubiquitous within the community? Probably not. but I also didn't know how many businesses this dude was going to be opening.
That's true. That's true.
You know, between his, his YouTube account, his supplement company, his programming company, and I think he has all. I think he's involved in a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with CrossFit too, to build his. But okay, well then it makes sense.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the dude retired and he's like, yeah, I just want to get jacked now. But now that he has all this time on his hands, everyone's like, let's work out together. So like, he probably could. We could probably get him off the couch right now and be like, hey, go do the workouts from Granite Games real quick.
Oh, that would just be a warm up for him.
You know what I mean? Like, just throw him into the last chance qualifier right now. He would probably make it.
Man, if they throw him at the Granite Games and he does those workouts against those guys, they just tell everybody else, you're not invited anymore. You lost too badly to somebody. like we can't have you guys show up, because I was not impressed by the field there. So
yeah, Colton. You know what? We were talking about villains. Colton Mertens might be my villain for CrossFit. I'm not a fan of that guy.
I'm curious how his CrossFit Games is gonna go.
We need to after the games this year, when Tia wins, we do need to do the definitive Matt v. Tia podcast.
Yeah, that needs to happen. This will be her 5th, right? If she wins.
Yeah, it'll be 5-5. We need to have the definitive one.
Is she stronger than Cara Saunders?
I don't know. Probably.
I never would have thought that originally, but she's just a freak show, man.
Yeah. But probably a good place to wrap it up. It's getting late. I haven't eaten in 10 hours. So
nice.
Anyway, thanks for jumping on, Dunk. Any last thoughts you want to get in?
No, good.
All right, buddy. Well, first and foremost, if I don't talk to you again and you have a baby, which could possibly happen any minute now.
Man, it could happen. It could happen in 10 minutes. You never know.
Good luck to you. But in the meantime, everybody, give us a follow on social media. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. And we would love to get any listener questions. We want to put them in the air and let us dive into some cool shit you guys have to ask us about. Later.